Welcome to the Area of Effect Gaming channel. I hope this video earns a like in your subscription. I encourage comments so that I can improve the channel. Today we will be covering Star Trek Infinite. Let's get started. Today we are going to review the trailer and the dev notes for Star Trek Infinite. And this is a game I am really excited about, and we're going to start covering it when it goes out on the 12th. I do plan to live stream, so stay tuned for that date and time. Should be the 12th. Not sure on time yet. So let's get into this. So here's the 1-minute gameplay reveal trailer for the game. So let's watch this. Alright, back there, I really like that map is not too glowy. I know in Stellaris, it was really, the bloom effect was incredible. You couldn't see anything. So I'm hoping that's fixed, or, done differently in Star Trek Infinite. But I do like how they've got the map laid out. It seems like it's relative to how it is, in the lore, relatively placed. Still haven't been able to figure out if they're going to do, only one map and you just play the same thing over and over again, or if they're going to do random maps. But if you think you know what they're going to do, post in the comments. Let me know. I'd be curious. Let's keep going.
We are establishing communications with another sentient species. In accordance.
Okay, so that's very similar graphics and stuff to Stellaris, and how you scan planets to figure out what materials they've got. I like that. I like that they're not changing too much. If you know how to play Stellaris, you should be able to play Star Trek Infinite.
With the Prime Directive.
I like the new mission tree. I'm curious to dive in and get more in-depth information on what all each of these things does. But I'm definitely intrigued. Okay, that base is awesome. That thing just looks awesome, and it looks mean. Like, it looks like at any given time, 6 waves of fighters are going to come out of it and try to attack you. Oh yeah, it's the Klingons. Alright, it's not bad. Yep, similar diplomacy it looks like. And they've got ruler traits just like Stellaris. That's cool.
Enemy positions revealed.
Oh, we gotta go back. I just saw my favorite ship. There she is, the Voyager. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I love Voyager. If you're a Voyager fan, comment down there. Let me know. Yep. Voyager gets a bad rap, but I'll tell you what. I've watched the series more times than I can count. She looks good in this game. Okay, that combat looks incredible. I know this is probably like pre-release video, but I'm sure the graphics would be better, but that looks awesome. I love the different color lasers and the torpedoes and plasma bursts. It's just incredible. And I'm just realizing I'm not doing in high quality, so we're going to change that up real quick. Yeah. That's incredible, guys. All right, so we're gonna go to the devlog now, 1, 2, and 3, and we're just gonna go through them real quick. All right, so this is the first dev diary they published a couple weeks ago now, but it basically gives them the it's telling us about the game. It's the first introduction we had to it outside of the video. But I really like this. So the idea of the game, you can see here in text, but I really do like the idea of how they decided to put it together. And I'll be honest, I'm even more excited for it than I was for Stellaris when it came out. Charting the stars. Did they choose the best four civilizations? I don't know. If you think they should have had different civilizations, comment. Let me know. I personally would have loved to have seen the Borg. I think they come in as a crisis, like in Stellaris. They come in later, but I'd really like to play as the Borg. That's the one thing I loved about modding Stellaris is I could play as the Borg. So that would be exciting. Alright, turbulences and triumphs. Does this mean that starting positions will be fixed? I hope not. From what I'm reading, it sounds like that maybe, every time you start the game, if you play as the Federation, you're going to start in the same spot. Or Klingon, you're going to start in the same spot. It all depends on what kind of map they go with. It depends if they're going to stick to lore or if they're going to go more Stellaris where you can do random maps. They did make particular mention to, it would be weird seeing Vulcan way far away from Sol since it is supposedly so close, in lore. So that's something to think about. Alright. Yeah, did they pull it off? I think they did. The game looks great. Absolutely great. So that concludes devlog 1. Let's go over to dev 2. Alright. So when is the question? When is the game taking place? They went back and forth. They decided between the Archer era and the Picard era. They settled on kind of like a middle ground where the most content was relevant and they could have four major powers, that they were all engaged in the universe, so that the generation era seemed to be at least a focal point for the content. Although the game story, they've said, will range before and after timeline wise. So Endgame will be like near current Picard, and then old game, like early game, will be like Archer era. And I think they made a good choice with that. Alright, who? Not every species in the Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant are equal or have the same capabilities. They are absolutely correct. Each race brings something different to the table. I'm really excited to see how they do it with Star Trek Infinite. Obviously, the Federation is going to have some sort of, ability to make friends easier because they're the United Federation of Planets. The Klingon are probably going to have some sort of combat buff or something like that. Ramans are probably going to be your spy-oriented cloak and dagger type civilization, I would imagine. And then the Cardassians, probably kind of like the Klingon, but they're probably do them in some different way. Maybe they have a lot of, like the Bajoran occupation. Maybe they have a lot of minor citizens or pops, something like that. So because they've assimilated a lot of, or not assimilated, that'd be the Borg. Uh, they've conquered a lot of planets and taken in, slaves and stuff like that. So that may be what they go after. But I do like the mention here of Ferengi trader ships, like the minor races. See here, such as the Ferengi. So what I think they're meaning by this, I think the minor civilizations are going to be, um, just like lower life civilizations, and they can maybe grow and evolve and join you, or you can trade with them or trade research, trade, obviously with the Ferengi, you'd be trading latinum, or that sort of currency trade. So that's an interesting aspect I'm very excited to get into. All right, where is Star Trek Infinite? Um, where indeed? Like I said earlier, it sounds like it's going to be a fixed map, and it sounds like it's going to be some subsection of the galaxy, not the full galaxy, but just like the alpha and beta quadrant, maybe a little bit of the delta quadrant, from what it sounds like. So maybe not, your pinwheel galaxies and stuff like that from Stellaris, but instead just a fixed map, which, I mean, it really hurts the replayability, I think, if you have a static map and you can't change it. But it is Star Trek lore, so I'd understand if that is how it is, but we can only wait and see. So from what I'm reading, they make mention of ship fuel and remote repair stations. So that intrigues me. So that makes me think that our ships will have some sort of meter on them that tracks fuel. And maybe we can only go a certain distance based off of our fuel capacity, and we'll have to upgrade fuel capacity to go farther. But they do mention of like warp factors, so maybe that counts as to how far we can go. I don't know. It definitely intriguing. I want to see what they do with fuel. It'll definitely be a resource that'll be fought over. So that's definitely something that is exciting me. Remote repair systems. I can't remember in Stellaris how exactly we did repair. I don't think we could repair outside of a system. So if it wasn't our system, we couldn't repair. So I'm not sure. It sounds like they might be implementing something where you could repair in an allied system or something to that effect, which could be nice. Definitely changes the whole strategy game. And it doesn't mention here in any of these dev diaries so far, but from what I can tell, reading and watching other YouTubers, it sounds like the way your fleets are going to be compiled are going to be vastly different than Stellaris. I'm very curious about it. Obviously, that makes more sense because Stellaris, I could create 1,000 ships and put them in choke points, and nobody would get through. But now, for some mechanic, we're gonna have less ships. There were several mentions of, really high fleet power levels being, at or near 1,000 power. When in Stellaris, I could have a fleet that had 2, 3, 400,000 power. It was insane. So the dynamics and how they work that into the game are going to be different, and I'm very curious to see how they do it, and I think I'm gonna like it. But the question is how many people will like it. If you think you'll like it, let me know in the comments. Alright, yeah, so they made reference to warp travel. And I use choke points a lot. I mean, religiously. It was crazy. I wouldn't use a map if I had more than 3 choke points. So I'm kind of glad they're getting away from that. It makes you really strategize about how to break your fleet up, especially now that you can't have a huge fleet. You know, if you want to go explore, but you want to protect that explorer group, you got to send a ship with it, right? So that means, out of the, let's say, 20 ships that you have, that's one that's not at home, and now you've got to guard, your east flank, your south flank, your west flank, and you got to distribute those ships accordingly. Now I'm curious. I know in Stellaris that was always a problem because it would take 3 or 4 turns to get there. Like if you had to go across your territory, if maybe within your space you travel faster, I don't know. That'd be curious, but it's definitely going to be an interesting mechanic to get used to. But I'm excited nonetheless. All right, balance of power. So the AI, it sounds like, might still declare on you if you're weak. I know in Stellaris that was usually a way to kind of hold off the game if you weren't quite ready to engage in the galaxy. If you didn't maintain at least some facade of power on the boards, the AI would just declare war on you because it think it could walk over you. I can't count how many times I've played, and I get so focused on research and mining and other things that I totally forget to make ships. And the AI, who for no reason has never talked to me before, just declares war on me. And they go invading. They get a little bit in, but at that point I'm like, crap, I gotta switch everything over to producing fleets, and I pump out a couple ships real quick and I crush it. But the fact that I had to do that, proves that point that if you don't show force, something's going to declare war on you. So based on what I'm reading, it sounds like the AI is still probably going to do that. But again, we'll have to see. The global tension, or the galactic tension, sounds very interesting. It sounds like, I think in Stellaris it was war fatigue or something like that. I think this is a similar type of system, where the longer you're at war with somebody, the more you and the galaxy and them want it to end. So that'll be interesting to see how they do that. All right, principles. So principles are basically going to be replacing ethics. And it sounds to me like it's more than just migration. I know in Stellaris, your pups could migrate from one planet to another. You could move them from one planet to another. I don't recall them leaving your civilization entirely. It's been a while since I played Stellaris. Maybe that was something that's come in since I stopped playing, but I don't recall that being a thing. So this could be new. It could be very impactful, it sounds like. So I am very excited to see that in action as well. Alright, devlog 3. This is their newest one. Looks like it was put out last Friday, so very short time ago. I do love these entry screens, and I wonder if you can pick one or if they just kind of rotate, or it's like a random draw when you open up. I'd like to be able to, whatever I'm playing at the time, make that the load screen. But anyway, the artwork really nice. I love it. I love the Starbase designs. I really like how they level up. Where is it? Down here? Yeah. So you get your small ships, and then your bigger ships, your intermediate ships, and then your like D class. I think here that's the sovereign. Then you get like your outposts, your relays, and then your small star bases, and then I think as it looks like as you upgrade them, they change visually, which is great because you couldn't always tell in Stellaris visually how strong a base was other than looking at its power number. So a visual representation I think is a good improvement. And it just again the art is incredible. I can't get enough of the art. I mean, it speaks for itself right here. I mean, look at that number of assets just for the Federation alone that they've created. Like all these illustrations, event and backgrounds. I mean, that's almost 1,000 right there. That's crazy. And then all the portraits, like thousands. We're talking thousands of objects and assets that they had to make, or combinations of assets, I guess. So that's not exactly representative, but you know, all them. Look at that minor powers. Okay, so you got Bajoran, Bolian, Boslik, Talarian. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know most of those species. I'm not a die-hard Trekkie, but I'm pretty hard. So I know most of those species. But yeah, combinations of them. You got. Looks like those are going to be your avatars, and looks like you can possibly switch out your uniform. Maybe only in the deluxe edition. I don't know. Again, we'll have to see how that comes to fruition. And then those portraits, that brings back memories. Alright, so I don't know about you guys and gals. I can't wait to play Star Trek Infinite, and I cannot wait to play it for you. So I hope that you will join me when we do our live stream on the 12th. Again, time to be determined, but it'll be out there. So I'll make sure I get it in YouTube ready so that you can join it if you want to. So this is Area of Effect Gaming signing out. I hope you have a good day.